So, good evening.
Come on, Lee, do it with me. Oh,
Oh,
How
mate.
can how can how can Man United right? How can Man United be playing the best football they've been playing in years and still be the most banter club in the Premier League? And we're sixth. We're sixth, and they are still in the position, and it's all because of Ronaldo. And it's the reason why it's funny, Lee. Sorry to start on this, and I
No,
know you
no,
haven't
you
even
crack
spoke to
on,
the
man.
audience. Big up to everyone, by the way.
Ah,
Smash a
crack on,
like if
man.
you
It's
haven't
your show,
already.
bro.
That being said, I think it's crazy just how many United fans were on board with Ronaldo, and now it's like, yeah, it's done. And everything that Rance has been saying, I've been saying, that you've been saying, that we've all been getting shit for, is now turned into a point where it's like, what? Oh, yeah, this Ronaldo was taking away goals from Bruno and stuff like that. Where was that acknowledgement before he left? Where was that acknowledgement last season when you were sixth place, but it was okay because you got 18 league goals? I'm just saying, Lee, the football world works in very funny ways, and it's very intriguing to see over time when you look back at people's receipts and people's reactions to certain things, and then where it is now. It's genuinely hilarious. So that's been interesting. Japan beating Germany as well is crazy. So we can
Oh,
start wherever you want, but I felt the sea, and I felt like that needed to lead
no,
somewhere,
it
and that's
needed
where
to
it
be
led
done,
to.
man. It was a good intro. I can't lie. It was a good intro. I want to
That's
make an
why they pay
apology.
me the big bucks, bro. That's why they pay me the big
Exactly.
bucks. Yeah,
I want
feel
to
me?
make an apology first to everyone that's watching this on playback
No,
because
yeah.
nobody's going to watch it live because I completely messed this up. I put the time in for 5 p.m. Spanish time instead of 4 p.m. So then I've linked it to Facebook and I can't do it under 10 minutes in advance on Facebook to link it to Facebook. So I had to nudge it back. So big up to everybody who is in this chat live right now because it's a miracle you're all here. But there is
And
over 100
admittedly, as
people.
well, I was the one who was chatting shit to Lee for 20 minutes before we started. So,
No, no, we were both chatting rubbish. It's fine, man. But listen, big up to everyone, man. I think we should start with Ronaldo. Let's start with Ronaldo, and then we'll move on. We'll move on to Germany. And like I said backstage, my neighbour opposite's German. I can't wait to see him. That's going to be
he's
hilarious.
going to be fuming when he sees you.
Right, he's going to duck me for about a week until they win the next game. But what have you made of this whole Piers Morgan interview and the fallout after that? Because Piers Morgan, Simon Jordan ripped him to shreds. I don't know if you see it, but he literally ripped him a new one. And for me, Ronaldo looked like it was just crybaby session. Apart from the death of his child and the illness to his daughter,
Yeah.
it was just to basically crybaby, poor me. I'm not getting my own way, and I want out. And he's got what he's wanted in the end, really. But do
Yeah.
you think he's the winner out of this, or do you think he's come out looking bad?
I think it's a very normal thing. Sorry if you hear my dog barking, by the way, she's barked like every half an hour for the past 4 hours, lads. It's pissing me off. But she should stop in about 30 seconds, so I'll try and speak through it. The Ronaldo situation's interesting because I think a natural human instinct to do, especially for humans who become somewhat entitled, whether it's 50% entitled, 70, 80, all of us are entitled in some way, even if it's only a little percentage. You would imagine with Ronaldo's recent years that has grown quite significantly. So when someone becomes that, it ends up resulting into them sort of feeling right, a lack of recognition or self-recognition in an aspect where he probably still thinks he is the best solution for Manchester United. He should be starting week in, week out. He should be doing these things. And that's why I think when he goes on Piers Morgan's interview, it's from a perspective that he hasn't been given what he's been told. So maybe the promises haven't been kept on United's side that you're going to be the main man, this, that, and the other. The only thing that I don't like is that he hasn't adapted to the fact that the team's playing the best football that they have been for years as a collective bunch. The fans are the happiest they've been. The proud of the players who are on the pitch, and it's only the start, and that's always a good start to have. Arteta had that first little spell where he went and won the FA Cup. Jurgen came in and, like, yeah, I don't know, it weren't amazing, but it was still more more of a unit than what we'd had previously, and that's what Ten Hag brought to United. And Ronaldo was a hindrance to that. You know, things like walking off the pitch when your team, even if you're losing or winning, overall your team's playing better.
Mm.
Overall, you're getting more points on the board. You're qualifying in Europa, which I know it's Europa, but still, you have contributed to where United are now because you were starting more games last year. Now that you're gone, the better without you. And before you came, they finished second. So if you just do maths, and not always in football, it's 2 plus 2 equals whatever. It can equal whatever in football. There's no definitive answer. But I do think one of the more clear problems in United's team in recent times has been Ronaldo, because again, if he's scoring, then Bruno isn't, Rashford isn't, Martial isn't chipping in. That's the unfortunate thing. If you get rid of him, we've saw based on recent case studies, everyone gets a chip of the goals. Yes, it's being mainly Rashford who's the outlet, but you're still seeing more contribution from other players. So in terms of the interview, I think the reason why he's adding extra excuses is just to build to that case of I'm right, they're wrong, and everyone be on my side. And that's what he wants. He's got an image that he needs to uphold. He's got a goal, which is to be the best of all time. And the only way he is the best of all time is if he convinces the people who are the judge of that matter, which is the fans. Because that's what really matters when it comes to the GOAT. He doesn't want himself to call him the GOAT. He wants everyone to look at him the way he sees himself. The goal achievements and stuff like that. And he's right about the records. But he's not talking about an overall footballer. He's talking about accolades. He's talking about these things. And until he realises he's just not... He even said in the interview he's not the player he was before. But he still thinks he's, like, much better than what he actually is. Like, he's no better than Nunes. He's no better than Nunes, in my opinion. That's not me saying Nunes is really good, by the way. I just think they're both outlets. They're going to get on the end of chances. And if anything, you're going to get more pressing out of Nunes. So to the modern day game, he is much more beneficial for any Premier League side. You even saw Vincent Kompany coming out and saying, oh yeah, he wouldn't run for my team. He wouldn't piss about with that, because 3 years ago, he'd be like, of course I'd take Ronaldo. You're mad. It's Ronaldo. But now he does have that lack of running, and it's not going to work for a team like Burnley, who Kompany has encouraged to start running more. That's how the majority of teams play in the Premier League. So I don't know if you agree with me there, but I think he has been...
No, I do. I totally agree,
man. And I don't think he's really that good anymore.
No, I totally agree. It's not Ronaldo of even 3 years ago. Yeah, like you said, everyone would have took him 3 years ago. The only team that really wanted him, was Man United. He sat in that interview and said that Napoli and Sporting Lisbon and the Saudis...
He trashed shit about City as well, didn't he? He said that they wanted me, and then City came out and was like, the fuck are you on about?
Pep was
like saying, it's like a girl that you're saying that you used to date, and then she comes out and is like, I've never fucking seen you in my life.
Yeah, I've been with her, mate. I've been with her. Tell all your mates, hey, you see that one over there? Yeah,
nah, she asked me out. That's what it is. That's what it is. She asked me out on a date here, you know.
She asked me out on a date, mate. I had to say no.
That's exactly what it is.
It's true, man. It's true. And the funny thing about it is, you're right what you said about the accolades and the personal awards and stuff like that. I see a stat yesterday that Messi scored in 4 out of 5 World Cups he's played in. If Ronaldo scores for Portugal in this World Cup, he's scored in all 5 he's played in. So that would be a thing that he's desperate to do. Oh, I'm one better than Messi. But this is why he's never been the GOAT, because it's always him looking up to Messi. Yeah, and it's always him trying to be better than Messi, which tells you Messi's better.
Himself.
To be fair to him, listen, you can't knock his career. He's had a mad career. He's won everything.
But Lee, you have to when you compare him to Messi. It's like saying, right, so yeah, Lee, say if you've got a beautiful TV, it's fucking however many inches, it's massive, it's great HD, and then you get a downgrade in TV. Now, say when you were a kid and you were skint and you were living in a council house, I'm not assuming your life, by the way.
No, I did live in it with...
There you go, I'm just guessing, lads, I can feel it. From a fellow council house, I felt it, brother, you know what I mean? The connection's strong. But...
You mean we're both riffraff?
That's it, lads. We're both scruffs, and we've came out of the other end, lads. We're buzzing. But nah, the reason why I'm comparing it to that is because when you're a kid, that new TV that you've got might be decent for when you're a kid in those circumstances. But now that you're rich, you've got money, you've got a belt of telly, and you're downgrading to this. If you compare it to your previous telly, it's a shit telly. So the reason why we have to downgrade Ronaldo, because that's how humans work when we debate. You have to nullify and find anomalies in people's counter arguments to basically come up with your own and say, no, that's not right. Because it's when people say Ronaldo's the best footballer of all time, well, is he a better dribbler than Messi? Because I don't think he is. And even when people talk about goal, all-round game, by the way, I think Messi's better at everything. I do. I think maybe heading, but athletically, yet Ronaldo Coutinho, technique on everything, though, I think Messi clears Ronaldo. I do. Prime, there's more of a conversation. But it still, in my opinion, shouldn't have been as close as it was, ever.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, listen, Ronaldo was good until maybe second or third year at Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, he was just.
It was all outlet. It was all goals. Let me
Yeah,
try and
it
break
was let's
records.
make
He
it all
admitted
about
that.
him. Like I say this to Rance and other people on here as well. Do you remember the goal that was it Arbeloa scored at the back stick for Real Madrid? And Ronaldo didn't celebrate because he took the ball off Ronaldo, and Ronaldo was going to get the tap in, and Arbeloa tapped it in instead. And everyone's cheering. They're walking back to the halfway line, and Ronaldo's just got his head down, didn't even go and celebrate. That just tells you what he's about. And the thing is, I rate his mentality of wanting to be the best. I rate that. Yeah, and I rate the fact that he's looked after himself and he's still playing football at 38 and still posting 18, 24 goals, whatever it was last season in all comps. But bro, this guy, man, he is the most vain, and the most delusional person in football because he still thinks he's the Ronaldo of 2009, and he's really not. The Ronaldo of 2009 was an exciting flair player, that could do step overs, jink past players, dribble past players, and he totally changed his game at Madrid to catch Messi because Messi was posting record figures for goals, and he thought, well, I want some of that. So, and that's the only team he's been at, by the way, that has not collapsed after he's left. Like, take Sporting Lisbon out because he was a kid, but Real Madrid have not collapsed after he's left. Man United did, and I know they won the league title after he's left, but then he went to Juve. They've been crap since he's left, and now he's gone to United, and they're actually playing better without him now. But they're starting on a point that's way down from where Man United should be. And that's not because Ronaldo's so good that, we've lost our talismanic figure. It's because the whole team is geared up for him. And that can't be the case. You can't build a team around the fucking aging striker. If you're going to build a team, you build it around a midfielder, or you build it around an aging midfielder. We see when
think about it. Sorry to interrupt you, just quick. The thing about Ronaldo as well, you pointed it out about how you rate the mentality. Let's simplify it, because you can simplify football very easily. You can simplify it and compare it to real life very easily. I don't know if you've ever worked in management. I personally haven't, but I get the gist of the type of person who I would prefer to employ for my company or whatever it is. I am not looking for someone who is out for themselves. I am looking for someone who has got the best interests in what I am trying to create or trying to promote or whatever it is that I am trying to achieve. I want them to invest in that same vision. I'm not expecting it to be your whole life, but I want you. I would much rather someone who will put the work in, put that extra time in and really tries hard, opposed to someone who's more skilled, more intelligent, but won't work as hard and put in that same work ethic. And also, one other attribute that you look out for is the ability to work within a team. The strongest forces that you've ever seen built in business, kingdoms, fucking in any era of life, by the way, in history, it's always been done by more than one man. It might have started from one man, one idea, but to execute the idea, it came as a collective and it came as a team. The reason why Ronaldo was so successful at Real Madrid is because they were very, 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 very good collectively, and that's why he was able to get on the end of chances and get goals. Before that, he had a lot more self-influence where he was creating those chances, skinning past players. He was unbelievable, and that's the thing. He was elite. He was fucking elite. He just was not Lionel Messi. And it's such a shame that we have to compare him to Lionel Messi when there is really no comparison, and therefore we have to diminish what is actually a real legendary figure in football. We should be able to appreciate him. It's just we have to diminish him when it comes to these conversations. And just back to your point about sort of the team thing, he doesn't want to work as a team, and that's why he's got to realise in a modern day game where there's excessive systems, you're actually not adapting with the times. It shows you're not aging with intelligence. If anything, you're kind of stuck in the olden days, and you're becoming one of them grumpy old granddads who just does not suit to the modern game. You've got to adapt with it yourself, and you've got to realise it's a team sport, and you're not going to win games by yourself, and it's not all about you. And the man who got, maybe, I know not all assists obviously, but the man who made the first pass of an attacking play, and it was a well executed pass, is nearly, if not more important than the person who got on the end.
100%. The thing is, this whole Messi Ronaldo debate's laughable, because if you're going on technique, Messi kills any player in the world. If you're going on dribbling, he kills any player on the world. If you're going on free kicks, he kills any player on the world. If you're going on chipped goals, he kills any player on the world. If you want somebody in tight spaces, he kills any player in the world. His vision and passing, he kills any player in the world. He's the best playmaker and the best goal scorer. He's the complete footballer. The only thing that you could say is a weakness for Messi is aerially, but he still scores goals with his head. He scored against United in the final of Champions League jumping Rio. So, and like the thing is, people look at Ronaldo's body and go, "Oh, look at him, he's looked after himself." Fair play, he has looked after himself. Yeah, it must be boring as shit
He's
eating plain breakfast every day.
He's maximised his athleticism. That's
He's
the what
maximised
that
every single last drop he can get out of his body. Yeah, and he just can't accept that he's now finished. Yeah, he can't run anymore. We see this in games this season, or was it last season? I think it was this season against Southampton, where he tried to burst past the player. Well, he was already gone. Yeah, and you thought, right, now Ronaldo will kick on, give that little speed boost. Yeah, and he'll be gone. But he didn't, and the defender caught him up. And it was like, if that was Ronaldo even last year, he would have been gone. Yeah, and just like that, he's done. Yeah, and the thing is, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes now. I heard TalkSport talking today, and they were saying that potentially Newcastle, because of the Saudi link, he was linked to a 350 million quid deal in Saudi.
He's not starting above Callum Wilson. Eddie Howe doesn't
start starting above Isak
Callum Wilson.
No, yeah, he's not starting over Isak or Wilson. Both of them have got more about.
If it's Chris Wood and Chris Wood alone, now you have a conversation. But I don't think when you've got that strike force and that strength, not a chance. Not a chance. That's got
and the thing is, what they're trying to do at Newcastle as well is not build a team around one person. Who's not going to press. He's not going to work for the team. He just wants to goal hang. That ain't going to happen, and they're flying at the minute. They're one of the best teams to watch. One of the best teams in the league, and they've got the best defense in the league. That's because they've all got the work ethic.
They have got higher in the table with less investment than a team that Ronaldo was just in. Bear in mind, the team that Ronaldo was just in is lower than Newcastle, and he was on the bench for them. When you're the owners, if this is true and they are genuinely interested, you've really got to assess that from a point like, what do we gain out of this besides a few shirt sales? And to be honest with you, I think Ronaldo's lost a lot of respect. I don't think the Newcastle fans, I think they would be happy, obviously, just to get someone like Ronaldo. It's kind of like a FIFA thing, but I think the sensible Newcastle fans would understand this is not someone who's got the best interests of Newcastle United.
I've not seen a single Newcastle fan. I've got a lot that subscribe. I've not seen a single one say they want him. In fact, the ones in the chat said they don't. I just want to highlight this comment very quickly. Messi is meaty right now. He's finished 2. Bro, he's played this season 19 games in France. He has 12 goals and 14 assists.
And fuck that. That's more than enough to end the argument. Fuck that. Watch him. Watch what he does for the team. Watch how much better they are. Did you watch
Argentina yesterday? They lost, right? Did you see him yesterday?
I didn't watch it live. I was live already. It was a shame.
Yeah, his penalty was quality, but listen, it's a penalty. Right? He still got to score it, but it was never in doubt. He very rarely misses a penalty. Yeah, very rarely. And if he does, it's normally when it's under mad pressure. Yeah, like stupid pressure. I've seen him miss one against Chelsea. Was it Chelsea? Yeah, it was Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea at the bridge. He shanked the bar. Yeah, and he's missed a couple for Argentina over the last. I think he's taken 25 penalties and missed 3 of them for Argentina, 2 or 3. Yeah, so he normally scores penalties. But if you watch some of the passing that guy does, and the way that he's always got time and space, you can't teach that shit, man. You just got it. And like he put a ball into Di Maria yesterday, like. Then there was another one and that was an outside of the boot pass. It was like, mate, not many players would make that ball with 4 players around you in tight space and be able to see, because you've now overrun the ball slightly. You've now had to spin, but you've already seen where Di Maria is. Not many players, De Bruyne would make that pass. But not many others on this planet would make that pass. Maybe Modric and players like that. But we're talking elite end footballers here, right? But then there was another one where he had a chance in the first minute, should have probably scored. He could have had a hat-trick yesterday. He had a header in the back stick, soft header, and then he had another one where he jinked past a couple of players and then the guy got a last-ditch tackle. But if I was to rate Messi out of 10 yesterday, I'd give him a 7. I don't think he was that great, but you can't do it all in your own. And he has been able to do that in many, many games. But when you're talking about World Cups and you're talking about teams that are going to come with more physicality, they're going to slam into you. It's not like playing in La Liga or France or domestic football. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of these footballers to play at a World Cup. Saudi Arabia might not ever get there ever again.
Yeah.
So same with Poland. Mexico qualified.
Their manager's good, Their manager is like, I think he's won 2 AFCONs and he's now won this game against fucking Argentina.
But he won the AFCON with Zambia.
And I swear I also read that he got sacked, not the correct club probably, but from like Northampton or somewhere, and then went on to achieve those things. Or Peterborough. I don't know where it was, but if you type in his name, I believe there was something along those lines back in the 90s or something. If you can find out, it's with him.
He doesn't look like
maybe
a
I'm
football
getting it
manager, does he? He looks like a film star.
fully. I was confused. I was like, whoa, this is mad.
I thought it was
Crazy
Dolph
as well.
Lundgren, mate. I thought it was
I
I
also,
thought it was Man of Rocky
yeah,
films and that.
defo. I was dead
So his
confused. But
record, bruv, he has managed so many teams, right? Cambridge United, that was it.
Cambridge. How
Cambridge
random's
United.
that, Lee? Cambridge to
If you look at
fucking
the teams this guy has managed,
Saudi
right?
Arabia.
He has managed a team called Draguignan, who are in France. Never heard of them. Sporting Club de Draguignan. I've butchered that. Then he went to Cambridge. He got sacked from there and went to, I can't even pronounce this name. They play in the Vietnamese league. Yeah. Then he went from there to.
My man was just trying to find a way to pay the bills, lads, until the right job hit.
Then he went
Saudi came and was like, "Yeah, lads,
he was like, yes,
you're
please.
sorted now, son. Don't you worry about it." And not, hey, lads, do you know that in Saudi Arabia they gave everyone a day off?
Yeah, national holiday.
How boss is that, lads?
It's mad, isn't it? Mate, he managed a
quality.
team in France, yeah, in the national championship level 3. Then from there he went to Zambia and won them the AFCON. The AFCON. Then from there he went to Angola.
That's unbelievable, by the way. Please tell me one player, no disrespect to Zambia, big up everyone from Zambia watching this, user all belters. Name me one player who played for Zambia, lad.
I can't. Real talk.
Name me one, chat. Name me one. Out of all the 10 people watching this, name me one fucker who's played for Zambia. Tell me.
I genuinely can't think of one. I can't lie.
Yeah, let me type in on Google Zambian legends. Is it Zambian?
He then went from Angola to an Algerian league. Yeah. Then he went from there back to Zambia national coach. Then he went to France to manage in the French 2nd division. Then he went to Ivory Coast, won them an AFCON. Then he went to Lille. Then he managed Morocco for 3 years. And now he's Saudi Arabia manager for the last 3 years. Bro, this guy, and he actually played football as well. Oh, my days. He's played 213 games.
Yeah, Lee, before you carry on with this
Zambian
great manager. Lad, you're telling me, when did Zambia win AFCON, Lee?
2012.
2000, lad. The supposed greatest Zambian player of all time goes by the name of Godfrey. Oh, please get this right. Chitalu. Right, so Godfrey Chitalu, and he was born between 1947 and 1993. So, all I'm saying, to win the AFCON in 2012, did you say?
Yeah.
In teams where there was the Ivory Coast, there was the Nigerias, there was teams with more firepower who could have won that competition, and he won it. When that's their greatest player, who I've never heard of, might be great, might be phenomenal, never heard of him, Lee. So, I am only going to assume that is a phenomenal achievement, and Lee might just be the best manager of all time that I've never heard of.
Bro, this guy's win percentage, yeah, for Saudi Arabia is 53%. He's only lost 5 games out of 32.
That's just beaten Argentina that hadn't lost in 3 years, Lee. That's serious.
Mad, isn't it?
That's like statue.
His win record for Morocco was 55%. Yeah,
you can tell he's one of those good tacticians, can't you? You can just tell that he just got an eye for those cup competitions, and he just has an efficient way of playing football. I think that's the thing. Like I saw the highlights of the Argentina game, but from the
he actually won 2 cups for Zambia. Yeah, he won the COSAFA Cup the year after he won the AFCON. Then 2 years later, he then won the AFCON with Ivory Coast. Bro, this guy has been everywhere. Real talk. He's been all around the world.
Serious him, lad.
Bro, this guy has been managing in Algeria. He's managed in France. He's managed in fucking Vietnam, Cambridge. This guy's been everywhere.
Lee, all around what I love about football chats, the way we can find this one fella who's done all this mad shit, and then we just find out who he is, and he's done well. I love people like that. You know, people who have gone under the radar, but they've actually achieved greatness. Like, if you win an AFCON...
what the mad thing is, yeah? This guy will now have a statue and have the freedom of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, because
Oh,
he
yeah.
beat Argentina.
Lad,
What a ledge.
he owns 2 countries now, Zambia and Saudi Arabia. Lad, even if Ivory Coast want to give him the keys to some places, lad, honestly, he's on a slower scale becoming Andrew Tate. He's taken over the world. You know what I mean,
Mate, he's
lad?
in the right place for it. They've got plenty of money as well.
Hey, listen, lad, he's flying. He is flying, bro. They defo love him there as well. You can tell that. Like, I'm only assuming if he's achieved those things, you just look at the way he presents himself as well. Like you said before, he looks like a movie star. So, you've got this man who looks the part, he acts the part, his results are the part. Like, you're flying with someone like that. He'll probably end up in the Premier League, you know what?
Yeah, mate, he'll probably end up managing Brighton or someone.
Brighton.
You watch, the next manager to get sacked, he's on the shortlist. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Cambridge just sitting there thinking it could have been so different.
Yeah, we could have been
onto
a winner here.
We could have been onto a winner, lad. We could be in Championship by now. That'd been sad for them.
I know you've not watched every game of the World Cup. Neither have I. The only full 90 minutes I've watched 2 full 90 minutes.
I'm gonna say mine as well.
Argentina.
Oh nah, mine was the France game and the USA Wales game. I never even watched the full England game. I saw like the highlights to that.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it. It was on.
Too early.
I had pals round. It was just on in the background. I had my Mac sat up there and we just sat chilling. But what have you made of it so far? There's been some shock results so far, man. Germany lost today to Japan.
Crazy.
After going 1-0 up. France obviously slapped Australia in the end, but they were 1-0 down. And then bottled it as soon as the equaliser went in. England have looked really impressive, along with France, to be fair. They've looked at both the front runners for now.
Yeah, man.
But we've seen nearly all the teams. Obviously, Brazil and Portugal are still to come. We've got to see them yet. Spain are playing as we speak, so we're going to wrap this up soon, people. But what have you made of it so far? And have you changed your mind on who you think could win it?
Well, I kind of said Brazil or Argentina from the start. So if Argentina now lose or draw another game, I'll probably lean towards Brazil. That being said, it's been a crazy tournament. It's why I like the World Cup. I like the culture around it. I love the way this World Cup has gone specifically because going into it didn't really care. The month that it's being chosen didn't really care. I'm still a bit frustrated as a fan, also as a content creator, that football has been disrupted in a way because it's just weird the way it works, you know what I mean? It just messes up everything. That being said, I love the way, like, from the stories that I've heard from friends who have went there, I've know quite a few people within this industry who have went, they're having a great time, being treated brilliantly, people have invited them to places where they have food, and it just seems like such a welcomed culture to those who have travelled there as well. I know there was the whole thing about the bevies and stuff like that, but you're going to another person's place, you know what I mean? Like, it just if you don't respect what they're going to do, don't go. I know it's not as easy as that, but just don't.
Yeah, if somebody
don't
walks into your house and started dictating to you in your house what you can do,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's theirs. It's theirs. Whether you agree or disagree is honestly could not be more irrelevant. It really couldn't. And I'm sorry that they do things that may go against what you believe in. There's plenty of things in this country alone that go against my beliefs, but I fucking live in it, lad. You know what I mean? So I've got to abide by the rules. I've got to do all these things, and I've got to make sure that I don't step out of the line. In these countries, it's the exact same way for the laws that they set themselves. So from a perspective, like, I'm just happy it's gone more positively. Like, the media are always going to spout shit. Like, they're going to try and hack your phones and that. Why'd you get hackers here? You know what I mean? Stop acting like that we're just all boss and we're great and all that. Like, I don't know. It's just mad to me, you know, like, all the shit that was spouted on there. But from a footballing point of view as well, I've liked it. I like upsets, and that's what the World Cup brings. And you just don't know what's going to happen. Argentina could go and win every other game, and it could be kind of like when Real Madrid won the Champions League last year but lost to Sheriff early on.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah, it's true, man. Yeah, you never know. And that's the thing, like, Argentina lost before to Cameroon, Roger Miller, 1990.
Yep.
Yeah, their first game, and then ended up flying out the group. So stranger things have happened, man. The Germans lost today to Japan. Argentina have lost.
Bear in mind, Lee, Messi will be pissed now. You don't want to piss off Lionel Messi, my G. You do not want a pissed off Lionel Messi.
He looked shocked and upset at the end of that game, didn't he? Look, it was like almost like, well, what more can I do? But do you know what I noticed about that game as well, though?
It was the backhands to the fellow players. He's like, all yous are shitbags. We're winning this. Watch, lads, he'll come back and he'll win them a few
Oh,
games.
mate, I've got him as top goal scorer. Like, top goal scorer, and I think they'll win it. Yeah, I still think they'll win it. And the thing is, he deserves a World Cup, man. He's been the best player I've ever seen.
Anyone.
No, I've seen a lot of fucking good players in my lifetime, because I'm an old man. Yeah, but he is easily the best player I've ever seen. Mate, it just makes it look easy.
From someone who I've watched week in, week out, the best player I've ever seen was Suarez. Like, my lifetime, like, he was just... Like, yeah, I was also going to say, I know we're going to wrap up in a second, but you know, on the Ronaldo thing, it all links together, by the way, but I also said that Suarez is a better footballer than Ronaldo. And
Suarez is easily better.
Might not matter. Easily, and people like look at me like they're dead shocked. I'm like, no, listen to the words that I'm saying. Better football.
Yeah, but this is what I went viral all over Sport Bible, Lad Bible, every media out there, because I said Ronaldo's not even in the top 50 best players of all time.
In terms of ability.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
like, I could reel off 100 players from the Italian league in the 90s that are better than him. Literally, like, you just go through that league in the 90s, it was ridiculous. Adriano's better than him. R9 better than him. Batistuta better than him. Del Piero. Like, I could keep reeling them off, bro. Like, fucking, and then you go into midfielders, then you go to wingers, then you go to defenders that had more technical ability than him. Yeah, but people in this generation, they just look at numbers, didn't they? It's like, oh yeah, well, he got a goal. It's like, now it doesn't matter if a player has a shit 90 minutes. He got an assist. It's like, really? Is that what we're dealing with here?
Suarez was unbelievable, lad. Like,
mate, that fucking goal he scored against Norwich, where he volleyed it from about a fucking million miles out.
Lad, I'm glad that you described the goal, because I was going to say what one. He just had, honestly, you can make a solid 2 to 3 minute goal compilation of just his goals.
Oh, 10 minutes comfortably, bro.
Lads against Norwich, and just all the world class goals he scored in a team that was shitly. It was a shit meaty team. Like, I know there was
Jay Spearing in midfield.
It weren't that one specifically, but we had we didn't have a bad midfield, to be fair. It was that was a few years. That was like when FSG came in, they brought all those players. But in 2014, it was Henderson, Coutinho, and Gerrard in the holding role. So that was the way our midfield lines up that season. Then the back four was man like Martin Skrtel, Mamadou Sakho, or Kolo Touré, who was Brendan Rodgers' long lost twin. They loved each other, Brendan Rodgers and Kolo Touré. But Kolo Touré actually put in a belter performance in the Europa.
He was a quality centre back for Arsenal, man. Like,
he was all right for us.
Unbelievable.
He was all right though.
Him and Sol Campbell, man, you weren't getting past them very easily, man. They were two big physical lumps, but they were fucking good footballers as well.
I remember we were linked with him. He signed for us in 2013, I think. And when he signed, I was like, he's boss. He was boss. I was only little when he was great for Arsenal, but I remember like hearing the name often and Match of the Day talk about how good he is. And as a kid, when you're making an assumption on how good a player is, lad, you're there like, right, you've got to use the information you've heard about him. And I'm like, he's going to be boss, he's going to be heavy. And then he was just an older version of Kolo Touré. But like I said, he still had performances. But yet the premise of what I was saying is, Suarez, in my opinion, was that player who made me go, wow. And then when I just watched Messi highlights, I'm like, as good as Suarez is, Messi is that much better than him. Like, crazy player. And like you said, we'll never see anything like him ever again.
Oh, he was just a joke. That 40 million and one still fucking haunts me, mate. It's mad. I just want to clear 2 comments up real quick as well. Yeah, there's come off it. Batistuta, I love Batistuta, but what has he done better than Ronaldo? Bro, that guy was one of the greatest strikers I've ever seen in my life. The only player I've seen like him that reminds me of him is Aguero. Yeah, they're very similar players. They can do everything. Slap a 30-yard screamer. They can dribble around you. They score a bullet header. Yeah, they're like left foot, right foot. Fucking brilliant footballer. And
are you an Aguero or a Suarez, man?
Both.
No, who do you think
like
better?
Good footballers, bro. Oh, if I had to pick one, that's tough because I love them both, man. And I think they're both fucking elite. But if I had to pick one, I probably would pick Suarez because he's a bit more of a bastard, isn't he? Yeah, and he'll wind the
Yeah.
defender up and get him sent off or something, or bite him, one of the two.
Aguero was a belter dribbler. He couldn't dribble like Suarez. He didn't have the ball control Suarez did. Like Suarez would literally like glide through players.
It was like
It
it was
was
stuck to
weird.
his foot, like Messi, wasn't it?
It was weird. Honestly, it's probably the closest thing that I've seen from an in my lifetime. By the way, I'm clarifying my lifetime of my prime years. It's the closest thing I've seen to just one player just dominating a game by himself. Until I watched Lionel Messi play for Barcelona and he just gets 3 belter goals. Like, them 2 players for me are 2 players that I just wish they played together longer. That'd have been so nice. Like, even the achievement of going to Atletico, winning them the league, that was boss. You know what I mean? That was great. And he was like 34.
He went. Where did he go after that? Because he won a league recently, and then said he was leaving the club. Where was that? That was his boyhood club, wasn't it?
Nacional.
Yeah, he won the league for them, and then he said he's leaving. It's like, mate, everywhere this guy goes, he wins something.
He wins something and then dusties, except Liverpool. But lads, I'd love him. I'd love him to come back to us, yeah. It'll never happen. And I know people say like about the thing with Patrice Evra, and I understand that was a terrible incident. But we've clearly seen in football, no one includes politics with their beliefs in terms of what should be on the pitch. People separate the two. I think that's a good way to work it. Of course, there's huge boundaries, but that is at least in the eyes of a wider perspective who ended up watching Suarez at Barca and ended up watching him at Nacional, if that's your thing. Like, user people who have accepted, I'm just happy to watch him as a footballer. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say I'd like him back at Liverpool, is I want to see him purely like on the pitch. Even if it's an older version, slower, less running, bringing him on for the final 20 minutes would honestly like excite me so much, in a sense of I'm getting to watch Luis Suarez here. You know what I mean? This is belter.
Mate, when he was in the Premier League slapping all them goals, didn't he get banned for what, 12 games was it? And he still ended up with a golden boot.
Golden boot. And until Salah came along, that was the joint record with Ronaldo for the most goals scored ever in the Premier League in one season.
And he missed 12 games.
Missed 12 games.
12 games.
It was 8. It was 8.
8 games. You're right. It was 8 games. Can you imagine if he'd played in them 8 games? How far like that record would go?
Like, that's what people would be saying about Haaland now. They'd be like, he needs to beat Suarez, because Suarez would have got 40 goals, Lee. 40 goals. You're telling me he wouldn't have got 8 goals in those 8 games when we were playing like Sunderland and fucking West Brom and that. They were involved in our first 8 games. Lads, we had so many easy games. It was, but I couldn't tell you game for game. I'm not one of those proper fan merchants who can tell you game for game, unfortunately, because my memory is shit. But what I do remember about that season, going into it, is that we had quite an easy start. I think we had like one tough game or one top 6 game in the first 8 or something, or 2. It was like very winnable. It was a good way to start the season. Suarez would have scranned in those first
it was always getting braces and hat tricks for fun. It was like every week. This guy was, mate, it was like, and then he'd run off, give him all of that one, and he'd just be like, fucking.
It was the shithousery, Lee. He'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's why I love him. But that's why I love him, because I love a player like that. Diego Costa's another one. I love shithouse players, that, like wrong-uns, but they wind up the opponent, and then they're so good, that the opponent can't even talk back to them. Yeah, because if they talk back, cool, mate, I'm going to nutmeg you in a minute and put one in the top bins. Yeah, and it was like, they were that good, but they could back their talk. Yeah, and I like players like that. It's like when you've got a mouthy player on the football pitch and you can't do nothing, it's like, shut up, mate. Like, real talk.
It's just like, you can't back up your ability, so try it once, fine, but if you keep fucking up, just shut up. You know what I mean? Just be quiet, because you haven't got the facilities to back up anything you're saying. Suarez was one of those players. Even just like the attitude that he brings, I think the one thing this Liverpool team lacks, and it's actually kind of why I'm glad we brought in Núñez, because even though I don't think he's good enough to compete us for league titles, what I do believe is he brings that attitude, he brings that sort of ferociousness, and he just sort of has that I don't give a fuck factor. Like, all yous are here to watch me, but not like in a greedy sense, just in a sense that.
But that boosts him. That's like, I want to give back.
Maximises his own performance, and he wants to maximise his own performance to benefit.
It must be such a buzz walking out into a fucking field-packed stadium with all them people coming to watch you. Just you. Like, they don't care about the rest. We want to see Suarez today. Both teams, both fans. Yeah, it's mad. I remember, like, when I watched Arsenal against Barcelona at the Emirates. Yeah, and I was like gassed that I was going to see Messi live, and he weren't even that good that night. Yeah, but Ibrahimovic scored 2 goals that night. Yeah, fucking he dinked Almunia from miles out. But do you know, just is still to this day, after all the players I've seen over my lifetime live, Xavi was the best player I've ever seen live. Yeah, you could not get the fucking ball off of that guy, man. Like, it was literally like, it was like, you know, when you have the elastic around your ankle and the ball's attached to it, and you kick it and it pings back. It was like, it was literally like you could fire a ball into him, instant control, and then bang, pop it off. Yeah, he was insane, man. But yeah, I've seen Zlatan, Xavi, Iniesta. That Barcelona team back then was a fucking joke. We drew with them that night. That was when Fabregas scored with a broken leg. But we brought Walcott on and scared the fucking shit out of him, mate. Even Messi said after the game, it was like, well, we ain't seen somebody like him before. Like, it was mad. We should have won the game in the end, but yeah, we were 2-0 down. But that was mad. And mate, we've seen some fucking great footballers, some really good footballers. And that's why
You've seen more than me, which is why I'm jealous of you, Lee. You've seen much more better footballers than I have.
Don't be jealous, man.
Select
Don't be jealous. You've seen some fucking good players, mate.
I've seen some really good players. I'm just happy I got
especially on Champions League nights as well. And you've been in the Champions League a lot, so.
Oh no, lads! I'm gonna laugh at my kids that they never got to watch Lionel Messi in his prime. I'm gonna laugh at them. I'm gonna be like, ha ha, football. You're watching like a shit version of football. I'm a bit devoted as well.
You're watching Marcus Rashford instead.
That's your idol. You know what I mean? The Marcus Rashfords, the Darwin Núñez, whereas I was watching Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi. I was watching
Henry and Bergkamp and all of them ones, like Vieira, Petit, fucking Ashley Cole. Oh,
I do have faith that football. I do have faith that football can resurge. I do have faith that because football's always changing. It's not going to stay like so systematic. There'll always be a way to outdo it. It's a big game of chess. You'll probably notice over like hundreds of years just how much it goes in cycles, just with different rules, different players, more modernized, more training facilities. But the premise stays the same. The way everything happens stays the same, and the certain players just will always rise to the top because the next player who does have that natural ability that we all say Messi has and complements that with the hard work that Messi has put in, you will get not another Lionel Messi most likely, but you will get a really, really good player who in this crop of players will be fucking unbelievable and a great watch. And I am not willing to be one of those football fans who gives up on the possibility of no technical footballers making it into the game in the next 10 to 20 to 30 years.
The problem is I'm coming towards the end of my life, mate. I'm kind of halfway through life. So it's like I ain't got long left. Yeah, I need something.
I understand that, Lee. You haven't got the long-term investment. Nah, but
if I live till 70, some fucking needs to hurry up and turn up in the next 10, 15 years.
I just think it's going to be a dry patch for the next 3 to 4 years. I think in 5 years you'll see players coming through academies again, and you'll see players from Brazil coming in more. It's all literally about the structure of scouting systems and the models of football clubs, because when shit's going wrong, clubs sometimes say, right, let's stop buying from fucking the Netherlands and France, because even though they have good players, we're not buying the right ones. Let's go to Brazil and let's just see what they've got, and let's buy a few of their players, see what they're chatting. Do you know what I mean, though, Lee? It's all just about a change in perspective that can change the game completely and get it back to multiple technical footballers, and that's the way you get into football teams. But it is also times with the fact that systems are just an efficient way of winning games. So
that's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is. Listen, it's been a pleasure, man, and appreciate
brother.
the time. We've missed 2 goals in the Spain game. Big up to everybody who's been watching as well, by the way, because anybody who turned up late, I fucked this stream up by putting it in for an hour later, and then I had to pull it forward, and you don't get traction like that. So that's why I normally do them an hour before. But I cocked up. So big up to everybody who has watched live. We peaked at 400 people. So that's a bit of a miracle, man. So big up to all the 400 that did come and watch it. And big up to everybody who is watching on playback. Big up to Wickham Special as well. Fans didn't want Asensio at Arsenal. Madness. I don't think he's that great, bro. He's a good player, but is he any better than Danny Ceballos?
He doesn't take you to where you need to be, is what I would suggest. I think he's a good player. If
Madrid
turn
out loads of them, man. They turn out loads of them. The Odegaards, the Asensios, the fucking.
Odegaard's good, though, you know, Lee. I know that you're.
Let's not go there, man. You'll trigger me.
Good, lad.
I've managed not to mention Arsenal all the way through this stream. I've done well. Can you see how chilled I am?
Next stream, I've got 2 bones to pick with. Yeah, next stream we're gonna talk about. We'll do this on my channel on Sunday. Odegaard. We'll have that debate, and I'm going to piss you off, and then we're going to have the Trent one, and you can piss me off. How about that?
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll do that Sunday. There you go. The man has spoken, people. Make sure you subscribe to James's channel as well. It's right in the title. Just click on the blue hyperlink. Take it straight to James's channel and press subscribe. Big up to Wickham Special again. As a backup winger, well, we do need a winger. So, yeah, I can see your point, bro. I can see we do need a winger.
Listen, if Arsenal are willing to put in the significant investment, or the excessive investment very understandable that you would want to get someone like Asensio, because Asensio doesn't make Arsenal a worse squad. He just might make them a worse 11 if you're trying to make him your new left winger. Because you got Martinelli, like there's literally no point in trying to replace him. You know what I mean? Or even if you put Jesus
All
on
got
there
Smith
one
Rowe
time.
coming back as well, man.
Got Smith Rowe coming back. Like there's no real incentive to go and get Asensio at all.
No, I agree. But listen, football's crazy, man. But big up to everybody who has watched, man. Make sure you smash the likes up. It would help, seeing as I nose this stream up. And big up to everybody who's watching on playback. Make sure you subscribe to James. I'm going to be on his channel on Sunday. And yeah, man, we'll be talking about England slapping the Americans about 6-0. So that should be good. And we're going to have to debate about Trent and about Odegaard. So make sure you come and join us.
Yeah.
We're out of here, people. We're out of here. It's coming our